where we last left off, our party's druid, deducing the elaborate plan of transforming into a rat to disguise themselves and then go to communicate to the rats in question here on the beach, wandered over to the nest of rats that the party was approaching. Upon getting to said nest of rats, they see two very disturbing sights. They see the entrance to the tunnel that they have backtracked from the fort, proving that these are in fact the rats that have been blighting the fort and its soldiers for who knows how long. And they also deduce the fact that these rats are all very, very sick. Every rat is covered in disgusting cuts and pus and bubbling wounds that determine or that belay an animal that is incredibly sick, and yet they all continue active, seemingly uncaring of the disease that blights them. The two largest rats of the group stand in front of the entrance of the tunnel and take notice of the now transformed druid's approach from the north. You see the two large rats look away from the pile of swarms of rats that they just fed, and they look at you acknowledgingly. Not inherently distrustful, but just that something approached them from the north that they didn't think was over there, and it happens to be you. The matriarch continues to watch you, but continues to kind of ramble and mumble to herself. Not necessarily anything cohesive, more just utterances. Either self-assurances, self-motivations, self-doubts, almost belaying that of a psychotic episode as opposed to a internal monologue, now turned external. The patriarch, on the other hand, the larger of the two large rats, doesn't look at you with a raised eyebrow, because rats can't do that, but definitely looks at you suspiciously, and in his attempt to discover who you are or what your business is, will walk over to you slowly and kind of you watch as he bristles his fur and like arches his back and kind of puffs himself out in like a dominance display of like, I don't know who you are, I'm in charge here, like what's your response? But he says nothing.
Is there any chance that I would already know like how to like know that like mice like bow their heads, or like, you know, what they do in order to like show that like they're not trying to like they don't, they come in peace type of thing?
Oh, and do a nature check for knowledge of animal behavioral patterns.
How the hell am I a druid with a -1 on fucking nature?
Because I think nature is based off your intelligence stat, but druids are a wisdom character. It's one of the biggest jokes of 5e. 0.
Wow.
Huh.
I didn't even know that was possible.
Well, so you see him walking up, and you're like, of course, I know exactly what I need to do. And then you kind of have like a brain fart, and you literally know nothing. Like, you think if you're like, I have spent time with so many animals throughout all these years, being a druid, living in the woods, my whole backstory, and you just fucking completely forget everything about every animal. You've got no clue what you're supposed to do in the situation at all. You've got nothing.
Alright, so can me as a
Yeah,
as a
you
person...
can just pick a thing to do, and out of complete 0%, it's 100% luck based that you pick the right thing.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna take like a half a step back just to kind of put a little a distance and just kind of like bow my head a little. I'm panicking.
Can't imagine why.
I genuinely didn't know that was possible. I'm so scared.
I knew it was possible. I just didn't think it would happen.
Oh god. All right. So yeah. So I'm gonna take like a half a step back, and like bow my head.
And then he will, having seen you do this, and seeing that at the very least you're not challenging his dominance display, he will kind of like unpuff, but it still remains there. And then he kind of stares at you and does like a once over, like looking at your whole body. And then in a strange, not say strange, no, strange. You have spoken to animals before, like not necessarily telepathically, but you have come to an understanding with many animals. And then in recent times, as you've slowly mastered your abilities, you've developed the ability to speak with animals, the ability to turn into animals. It's still very new to you, but you've done it before. And you know that typically when you turn into an animal and you communicate with another animal, the speech isn't exactly speech. It's more just like a series of noises that each party inherently understands. It's not like talking to a person on the side of the road. It's more general understanding. This rat patriarch looks at you with a strange intelligence and meets your gaze now that you've lowered your head as you start like to look up, and he chitters to you in what can only be described as an attempt at speech in rat, and simply asks, "Who are you?"
I think I'll just say I'm not from around these parts. I seem to have gotten a bit lost. Or in chitters, I guess.
Yeah.
Whatever. Whatever that would be.
I speak rat to the rat. And then, yeah, so you say that, and the giant rat inherently seems to understand and continues to look at you. And he says, "Lost. My brood lay claim to this entire area, as so was decreed by the Green One. It's impossible for you to be here without our knowledge. I find your story lacking." And he squints at you when he says it in a distrusting fashion.
The green one is the one who... Nope. I didn't say that.
Oh, you know the Green One too? Bro, that's my uncle.
Yeah, because that's totally why I'd be lost over here. I was gonna say the green one? Question mark?
He looks at you and he says, "Yes, the Green One, period." And then he goes, "The Green One is the one who nurtured all of us. He's the one who allowed us to exist in such a environmentally rich place. He fostered this entire family, and he asked only one action in response. It was a deal that no leader could ever deny, and so I took it. But you weren't part of it, and I need to know where your allegiances lie."
My allegiances lie wherever I can survive.
Respectable, but such fleeting allegiances are untrustworthy. What business do you have approaching us and not simply going around? What do you want?
I seek help.
Yeah. Now,
I have
continue.
just... I haven't seen another rat for a long time, so I approached you as you were the first ones I'd found.
Okay, I am going to say, just for everything you said up to this point, roll a general deception, because you did see another rat like 10 minutes ago.
Shut up.
And then you murdered them all. So,
Dice gods, please, for the love of God, don't fuck me on this one.
listen, it's literally, you don't have a -1 to charisma. You literally can't roll a 0. It's fine. Okay.
Well, I didn't roll much higher.
No, say a 7 is 7 higher than a 0.
Yes, it is. That it is. Yep.
he stares at you, unconvinced, and he looks at you and he goes, "You appear very suspicious. I feel as though many of the claims you make are not grounded entirely in the truth. Be that your distrusting nature or your state as a malicious liar, I can't yet deduce. But you're not telling me everything, and I don't like that."
What can I do to prove I'm trustworthy?
If you want to prove loyalty and join this brood, that's simple. We have a task that we were assigned, and you would simply help us finish it.
What is this task?
The giant rat kind of like turns around and wanders over here, and he gestures to the entrance to the hole that you've seen, and he goes, "It's very simple." He goes, "For whatever their motives are, the Green Ones' delegates, the ones who contacted us, simply instructed and trained us to go through this hole, well, specifically to dig this hole, and then go to where it leads. In there, we are to spread this I forget the word he used, but this green stuff that he put all over us. We are to rub ourselves against each other and go through this hole and see to it that we spread it to all the people at the end of this tunnel's location. Once such a time that everyone there has been contacted with it, we will have earned the completion of our job, and we will be rewarded."
Why?
Because that is the requirement. He offered us protection from predators. He offered us unlimited space to nest, to grow food. All they asked was for us to do this simple task, and that's a task that I haven't done before. I mean, what's one basement compared to another, scrounging for food, desperate to live? I don't wish that for my children. I wish only for their safety, and in this regard, completing this mission, regardless of who it be for, this mission is worth that trade-off. If you wish to join this mission to prove the loyalty that you bring up, simply approach my mate and have her bestow upon you the blessing of the Green One, and then you will be sent through this tunnel with, and then he gestures to these swarms of rats, and he goes, along with some of the rest of my brood, to continue the mission, as the last few rats that we sent up there have yet to return.
I dug myself into a hole with this one.
More like a tunnel, but yeah.
Just a hole.
Yeah. So it seems like, as it stands right now, if you want to be completely accepted by this group of rats, you're gonna have to let yourself be infected with whatever they have, and then you must continue the mission of sneaking into the fort and getting everybody sick.
Which is the exact opposite of the reason that I'm literally here.
Yes.
So I'm probably not
You
gonna
also
do
you
that.
also remember that you're the reason that the other rats didn't come back because you killed them, and that when you left the fort, you specifically had people seal up the hole. So now going in this hole, there isn't even an exit. You would just be trapped in a hole.
Mhm.
So you could never make it to the fort to complete the mission.
Okay, so then I'm gonna say, what if the reason the others have not returned is because there is a trap at the other end?
And then he says, I made the hole myself through many, many nights of just constant digging and gnawing through stone and dirt. I chewed my way through their walls. In the corner of a room, no one had gone in who knows how long. Dust and debris and decay was all over the room. A door that hadn't been opened in longer than I can probably have been alive. There's no way anyone would have found the hole, and even if they did, there's no way that the members of that fort would be smart enough to stop all the rats that I've sent. I've trained my children far too well to be able to get in, infect as many people as possible, and then get out. If there was a
Then why,
trap, I would have seen it.
then why have they not returned?
They're probably just so dedicated to the mission that I've tasked them that they're overeager. They overextended. They don't want to come back. They want to be the ones who have finished the mission. I can respect that, but it is it is unsafe, and I don't want them doing that. That's why I send rats in. They do their business, and then they come back, and then I switch out more rats, and then they get the blessing again, and then they go back, and I rotate them out. Sometimes rats do die because they get seen, and humans are not a big fan of us, and they will kill us on sight. But that is simply the life of a rat. Not everyone can survive. But if we all work hard, we can make it so that everyone has a life at the end of this mission. It's not a perfect system. It's not one I'm inherently proud to be a part of, but it is the best option. So it is the one that I'm taking. You've yet to answer, though. Will you take the mission? He kind of says, after a moment of like your contemplation, he says, I find your lack of faith in the mission disturbing. You seem to have far too many questions. You know more than you're letting on. What is it?
I just fear a bit for my life if you're saying that they're not coming back.
What is one life in the effort to make hundreds, even thousands better? Who wouldn't sacrifice themselves for a faithful mission if they knew the results of that sacrifice would be a inherently better life for everyone else? There's no need to hesitate. Lives come, lives go, they are given, they are taken, especially for us. Rats live short lives, and we have many children. I simply wish to break the mold. I care not about creating a million children and simply releasing them onto the world. I care about having a nest full of children whose lives are better than the one I had to live before being approached by the emissary of the Green One. There should be, if you wish to be accepted by this family, by this group, there should be no doubt in your heart about the benefits of sacrifice.
Perhaps there's a better way to infect the humans. Perhaps a quicker way. You say that the door to wherever this tunnel leads it's not opened often, which means disease cannot be spread very quickly, can it?
No, it can't. But that was always the plan. If we all go in there all at once and everyone sees us, we'll be destroyed. We can't fight that many humans. We could barely fight one. We're just mice. The trick is to get in there and spread the blessing over as many surfaces as we can. And if we do see a few humans, we need to touch them or bite them. And then the blessing spreads to them. And then when they go back to be with the other humans to eat or to rest or to get to sleep, then the blessing will spread from them to other humans. So we just need to constantly go in, get a couple of humans here or there, and then run away, and then let the humans spread it to the other humans. You detect a note of pride in the way he like explains his plan. One that said of like a leader who isn't particularly wise, but has like planned out this series of steps that he seems to think is like a flawless plan, and he almost glows with like a pride of like, I figured this all out when we started. Like, this is the perfect plan. Nothing can go wrong. Once it succeeds, which it can't possibly fail, we'll all be good. Like, I'll have fixed everything.
If you can go into the tunnel and prove that there are no traps or no dead ends or no bad things waiting at the other end, I will join the mission.
Persuasion.
Where the heck is it? I know it's here. I just gotta find it. A nat fucking 20.
Oh, well, yeah, that's what that is. It's
both ends of the spectrum.
yeah,
Look
we're
at that.
covering, dude. 0, 7, 20. So you say that, and he kind of is listening to you speak, and he nods, and he goes, every single rat on this mission improves the chance of success for this mission. I have nothing to prove to you, but if only to show you why I lead this pack, why I'm in charge, and why I do the plans, I will show you that this works. And then he's gonna send this swarm of rats into the tunnel, and then he's gonna go, I will go all the way into the tunnel and then come back to prove that it's safe. And then he goes into the tunnel with, I moved the tunnel. And then he goes into the tunnel, and they both disappear into the tunnel. You remember, the tunnel is really long, and it took you guys 30 minutes to walk from the wall to the beach. Granted, you had to try to track the tunnel like above ground, so you had to stop every now and then to like try to re-find it. But you think it'll take at least 20 minutes walking speed from here to walk to the tunnel that you know is now sealed, and then 20 minutes to walk back.
Yep. Okay. It would probably actually be a really good time to have,
Your party like jump them.
Yeah.
Well, I would say for practicality's sake, like, because time is wibbly wobbly, you're better off stalling for like 5 or so minutes so he doesn't immediately hear something and then come back. You probably want to wait till he gets most of the way there, if that's your plan. I would say that above board. So if you want to try to stall by trying to talk to the matriarch, who seems like the other big rat here, or just trying to do anything else to do anything.
So I'm gonna ask her more about the green one. When did the green one come to you with this mission?
You're talking to the matriarch. Okay.
Yeah.
She looks at you with, now that once she like makes direct eye contact with you, you see that her eyes have like whited over, like you think she's blind. like she with like some type of like cataract calcium encrusting on her like pupils, that it's whited over, but she's reacting to the sound of your voice, and she's still like chittering to herself and like kind of, you think she's like rubbing and vibrating, but then you realize that it's not, and it's the shake. She's got the shakes, and it's like she's uncontrollably shaking, like shivering like a fever. And then she seemingly hears what you said, but doesn't form like a comprehensive sentence immediately, and she just kind of starts rambling to herself, and it's just like, ah, yes, the green one, the green one, oh, the green one, many moons, praise the green one. And she kind of just starts like talking in a circle when she starts thinking about the green one, and you watch as like her shakes get worse as she tries to talk. She appears very sick.
I'm gonna take like a half step back. I can't move my token. I don't know why, but
Oh, that's because the rat is over your token.
Oh,
it's a cover because you're gonna be turning into more animals than a rat. So I needed to make cover tokens instead of changing your actual picture.
God.
But those are future problems. But then we'll move you back here, and then for the, I would say if you want, you can, as a druid, do a medicine check to see if you can identify specifics of the disease. Because this is the first time you've actually seen someone afflicted with it, because the party never went to inspect the soldiers who were sick.
Oh, of course I rolled it 15 times now.
Yeah.
Just take the first one. Yeah. I clicked it and it just didn't happen, and then it happened 5 times.
Yeah, that's fine.
Was that a back-to-back nat 20?
It was, absolutely. So, for some reason, it's up to you where you would have seen this disease before. Maybe it was in a journal that your mentor had. Maybe it was an animal you saw stricken with it when you were with your mentor and they explained the specifics. Maybe it was just something that you learned about through your travels. But you recognize this disease as something strange. The symptoms of this disease, like shakes, blindness, psychosis, it's weird. This disease almost presents like a combination of a biological disease but also a poisoning. So you identify that this disease specifically that they're afflicted with, you don't think has a name. It seems like a new thing, but its symptoms belay the idea of someone taking basically the equivalent of like cat scratch fever, but also with all the symptoms of mercury poisoning. So it would almost, with a natural 20, I would say that's high enough for you to concoct the idea that whoever this green one is so proficient with disease, they have almost certainly intentionally created or bred or mutated the base virus of cat scratch fever, and in such a way that it is now deadlier and has more side effects that would make it a significantly more lethal disease. And because of that, the common healer wouldn't recognize this as that disease and then would not be giving the right treatment. So like if this came into a regular hospital, they would assume it was something like far worse than cat scratch, and they would be treating like with different course that wouldn't work because it's not the disease that they think it is, because it has all the extra symptoms. They would be treating for heavy metal poisoning, which would do nothing, and then the person would just slowly die. So it seems intentionally created in such a way to maliciously infect people and trick medical personnel into not being able to help them. That, combined with the idea that the patriarch gave you, that he was specifically set out to go into this fort and spread what he called a blessing to everyone possible, implies the idea that the emissary of this green one has specifically sicked these rats with the intent of crippling the fort for some reason. or potentially it was just like a test of the new disease they made to see if it would work. It fits the criteria of both of those options. Whichever one you think is more likely is up to AtaRatxia.
These are very viable options here.
Man, am I glad you rolled high enough for that. When I wrote that, I was like, this is just for me.
There's no way I'm gonna be able to tell everybody out of this, right?
Oh, you could tell them. Whether they believe you or not is up to them. Because it's a little ridiculous. And I will also say, now that like the patriarch is gone, the patriarch looked sick, right? But none of the rats look as sick as the matriarch. Like it looks like the matriarch's symptoms are way farther along than anyone. That it probably leads you to believe that, assuming the disease has a linear progression, the matriarch was probably infected first or blessed first, depending on the rat's perspective, probably significantly before the patriarch or any of the other rats around. So like probably a couple of months, and then the patriarch, based on his symptoms and just appearance, his disheveled appearance, then him, and then it seems like all these other rats, based on the way the patriarch was speaking, it's all their kids. They probably caught it just by nature of being born from someone who was infected, but they're all relatively young and healthy because they're young, that they also look sick but not as bad, that you think much that they're all probably, these rats are all probably born relatively quickly as well, maybe in the last few months. These rats could not have gotten here longer than a month or two ago and have these few of the symptoms.
Interesting. Wonder why specifically the matriarch would have not only been diseased first, but diseased so much longer before, if their main goal was from the start was spreading. Anybody else that far along has already died, which I guess could be. Sketchy shit. I want to try to speak to one of the other rats, but I don't want to corner myself over there if they come back, and then I'm.
I will say that it has been, because you rolled a natural 20, you came to those conclusions like relatively quickly, like your medical knowledge kicked in and it became second nature. It's only been like maybe 5 minutes of you like deducing that about the matriarch, coming to all the conclusions you did and all the hypothetical possibilities, and then like acknowledging like the timeline was all about 5 minutes.
Okay, so I think I'm gonna come speak with this rat.
Yeah. You're gonna walk over to that rat, or you're gonna like call out to him?
See, that's where I kind of was a little nervous. I'm probably gonna walk over to him.
Do you walk over? Do you walk over through the beach, like passing the swarms and the matriarch, or do you double back through the woods and go around?
Wait, is doubling back through the woods an option?
Well, yeah, because remember, all of this green is like high grass, trees. It's like, because you're on a beachscape, so it's like the water, a couple of feet of beach, so like 20 or 30 feet of beach, and then it's like a little 2 or 3 foot high rock cliff. That's where the tunnel is, and then everything above that cliff is like dune grass and like weeds, and that leads all the way back into like the forest that you guys came out of, and that's where your friends are hiding, in where the trees start way in the back. So you could like you could clamber up the little 3 foot cliff, go around to where like this rat is, and then swing back around to this rat.
So now that I know that that's an option, can I go and talk to this one instead?
Absolutely. I'll move your token. As you approach this rat is facing, so he's facing the south. So he's facing like down where his portrait is facing. And he hears movement behind him and he like whips around. And he's like, and he almost gets startled. He's like, ah, where'd you come from?
I was down on the beach.
And then he just kind of like freezes. And you watch like drool start to come out of his mouth. And like one of his eyes goes lazy. And then he like blinks and snaps out of it. He's like, yeah, the beach. Of course you were from the beach. And then he just stares at you. And he's like, okay, no, I'm not okay. I'm a guard. I'm guarding. You never know who might try to sneak up.
Oh, of course. Have you been blessed?
Of course. I don't remember it, but it was when I was born. We all get blessed when we're born.
But you don't remember how it happened?
No, I was just born. From the story, from what the other older rats tell me, it's the matriarch. Well, when you're born, they rub you in her fur, and then that blesses you. It ornates you with the touch of the green one, or something.
Do you know? Do you know how the matriarch was blessed?
The stories just say that she personally met one of the emissaries of the green ones, and they took her in, and they blessed her, and then they introduced her to the patriarch, and then they came here. But that's just what the older rats said before. Oh, I haven't seen them in a while, but they're probably somewhere around here. I don't leave my post much.
How long has it been since you've seen them?
And then he kind of I'm trying to think. Probably like two moon cycles. Probably. Maybe 1.5. Counting is hard.
So, yes, I struggle with counting too.
For clarification, by the way, the moon works the same as ours, so
yeah,
that's like 3-ish weeks.
Mm-hmm. Where and how does one meet an emissary?
Oh, no one ever has. We've never seen him. Ever since we came here, all we ever do is hear about him. They've never come out here.
But there's no rumors or anything of the land that they roam?
No, the only people who were around then would be the matriarch and the patriarch, but the matriarch doesn't talk much anymore. She's so focused with the blessing, she has to concentrate on it, and she hasn't been able to talk right in a while. And the patriarch, he focuses mainly on feeding us so that we can grow strong and fast so that we can complete the mission. He did say that the person who taught him how to fish was from the old, where they were from, but he didn't mention a name.
Okay.
And then the rat kind of looks at you, and he has another one of those like episodes where like drool starts to come out of his mouth again, and he seems kind of like wobbly on his feet. He's like sitting, but he's still like wobbling. And then he snaps out of it again. He's like, "Oh hey, where'd you come from?"
I was down by the beach, but I'm actually thinking I'm gonna head back over there now.
"Okay, have fun." And then he turns back around and goes back to guarding.
It's crazy.
Memory loss is also a symptom of mercury poisoning.
Yup. Okay, I'm gonna head back down to the beach.
To the beach. At this point, I would say it's been about 10-ish minutes. So, in your like mental map, he's probably halfway to the fort.
I'm gonna try. This is probably gonna sound ridiculous, but I'm gonna try to talk to the matriarch again, and I'm hoping if I just say like emissary or something to her, she'll just kind of say something that'll hint me.
Oh, you're gonna try to find like her sleeper phrase.
Yes, exactly.
You could try. I will say, because she is so like clearly mentally gone from what you can deduce now as the later stages of disease, I would say it is going to be, whatever you say, you're gonna have to make a persuasion check, not to be convincing, but just to attempt to be confident that you can get your words through like her episodes of psychosis. Like, to be actually heard, it's gonna be a persuasion check.
Okay. So I'm gonna attempt to like ask. Like just, I guess, like, where is the emissary, location of the emissary? Well,
Average. Okay, you don't get like a. It's not good enough to get like a. Like, she doesn't get like a moment of clarity or any sort of like context, but you could see she's continuing to like talk to herself. And now that you've brought up like the emissary again, and she's kind of like not reminiscing, but she's clearly seeing like flashes of like something that's she's talking based on. And she's like, the emissary, the bars, cold bars, the blessing, pain, painful blessing, pain went away, the bars, couldn't chew through the bars. And then she kind of like fades out again, and that's all you get with a 10. And I will say, having talked to her multiple times, you could tell that like talking to her and attempting to get responses is causing like not agitation, but it's causing like stress, like on her mind, and you could see her getting progressively more agitated. Whether it's because you've drawn like attention to her lack of clarity, or whether it's just a symptom. Like, you also know that a symptom of mercury poisoning would be mood swings and like bursts of rage. So you don't know if it's one or the other that's causing it, but you could tell she's getting like aggravated. Just in general, not necessarily at you, just she's mad in general, and you could see it on her face.
okay. So we're gonna stop asking her questions now. But my goal here is not to fight, if possible.
It's a valid effort.
It's probably gonna be a lost effort, but an effort nonetheless.
Don't forget, you have allies like 30 feet away from you, so you could call this mission at any point. And if you, because your initial goal was like, oh, maybe I could go out there and talk to him, find something out, and convince him to leave. You as a nature-based person, you would know these rats are all infected with this like new disease, right? No one, this disease in the way it presents, no one would know but you, right? Because you rolled very, very high and you have a lot of specific experience. If you convinced all these rats to just go away, you have no idea where they could end up, no idea who they could interact with, if the disease could be transferred to other animals. Like, you open up a lot of maybes. There were multiple people in your party who didn't necessarily want to kill them out of like spite or just out of aggression or money, but with a 22 medicine, you could also probably figure out that this disease is not something that they're going to naturally cure from, and it's not something you have medicine
not gonna
for.
cure at all.
So, and you know, and it's safe to say that if the matriarch is as sick as she is, and she's older than all the other rats here, the way she presents, all of these rats are probably going to present. It's not out of the ordinary for you to assume that, like, they're all going to end up shaky, psychotic, diseased, in pain. Like, there is an element of, like, do I want to kill these guys almost out of mercy, like, from a different angle? Who cares about the heads? Who cares about the money? Who cares about the fort? Like, these guys have clearly been intentionally infected by someone who worked for someone called the Green One, who intentionally made these animals sick, and they're now suffering, and they have been effectively tricked into doing the dirty work of that someone, and they're all gonna die, either in the course of the mission or from the disease that they got infected with, and none of them know it.
I'm gonna get much more information about this anyway.
Yeah. I will say any further attempts to talk to the matriarch, I'm gonna start rolling behind the screen for outburst. So
yeah. I figured that's why you would warn me.
That's why I was like, you know what? You've talked to her twice. You get 2 free talks. After that, then she gets irritated. People don't talk to her.
There's part of me that wants to stay to see how the patriarch reacts when he comes out of the tunnel, but at the same time, I don't want to be the immediate blunt of his wrath when he realizes his plan is fucked.
Yeah. He seems smarter than the average rat, but still very animalistic. I mean, take whatever that means at face, like whatever you think it means, but there's definitely that element, like...
I don't know what he's gonna do when he realizes that his hole's blocked. I think
roll an intelligence check for something separate. $14. That -1 coming in.
Yeah.
14's high enough. The mental DC I set was 10. You remember something he said? He specifically said he's the one who made the tunnel, which would imply he's the one who slowly took time to, like, chew through the wall. Because remember, you guys found the hole in the wall, and you're like, this is a solid stone. Like, why would a regular tiny rat chew through this? You remember, he's the one who said he chewed through it. So depending on his reaction when he gets to the end of the tunnel in approximately 5 to 10 more minutes, if all the guards sealed it and they're like, yep, it's sealed, and then walked away, if he just chews through it again, he would then be in the fort, the big rat, with an entire swarm of little sick rats, and no one would know. And he would just be in the basement where you guys were. if they sealed it up and then we're like, oh, it's sealed, because they don't know because you guys didn't tell all the details, because you guys were like sitting on a little bit and you're like, we're gonna go investigate, and you really didn't say everything you were thinking because you didn't know if you could trust Ironside. So if they just left the hole after patching it and he chews through it when you're here and no one's there, that's a big rat, and it could bite a lot of people.
Shit.
You think of that as you're sitting on the beach.
Shit.
Ordinarily, I would say, if you want to go back to your party and ask them what you think you should do, I would. I don't think I can roleplay your 6 party members. So
Yeah, no, I don't think you can either.
yeah. So if you want to go over there and ask the 4 nameless guards you brought with you, they'll talk. Because I made those. But I mean, you do remember. You do remember. Calyx was anti-kill the rats if you didn't have to. Cole and Onyx were pro-kill the rats for money. Sai didn't really care, but she kind of thought the rats were cute, I think. And you are however you are. And then you can text Bronte's player. I don't remember what he thought about the rats.
Well, Bronte's player is laying about 10 feet away from me.
Well, then he could tell you what Bronte's feels about the rats. And the 4 guards don't fucking care. They're like, listen, I want to go home. This was like my leave day, and now I'm standing in the woods watching a rat talk to other rats. So they're pro kill the rats because they have a lot of friends who got they have a lot of friends who got sick from rats, and they kind of want to not get sick from rats. So they're kind of hoping that you guys kill all the rats and they don't have to do anything. But they're here because their boss made them be. So overall, your party composition is pro kill the rats, but ultimately it's up to you. So strategically speaking, you think this would be the best time to like either walk back to your party and go, let's jump them, or you jump them yourself as a cue to your party. Either way, depending on how safe you want to play it, it's up to you. You should also keep in mind, none of your party members at this time, because they can't speak rat, know anything about any of the nuances of the disease, or how it spreads, or how it functions, or what have you. So if they fought these rats not knowing, they could easily get infected by accident. So you also have the option of walking back, turning back into you, reporting everything you see, and then going from there. A lot of options.
I think I'm gonna go back to the party and report to them what I found out. I'm gonna wait until I'm, up here where this rat's not can see me.
And then you turn back into you.
Yeah. It just disappears.
Yeah. So you transform back, and then because the other party members are going to watch this before we play the session. So say what you would say to them if they were here, and then we'll cut it there, because then the next part will be them responding to what they watched you say.
Okay. So I'm going to tell them that I was able to learn that this disease that the rats have seems to be man-made. I have no confirmation on if the one that gave it to them is human, but they sound like they are. Otherwise a very, very intelligent animal. But the symptoms they have tend to match multiple diseases, some of mercury poisoning, some of scratch fever. And their only goal is to spread this disease in the fort. But for the ones that I have not sent away for the time being, I was unable to get an intelligible answer about why. Only that it's going to they're going to receive protection if they do it. So
All your party members silently nod at your report and
Uh-huh.
contemplate what their responses will be. Meanwhile, in an unknown location, the scrounging and scampering of papers is apparent, as a very well-dressed man deftly shuffles all manner of notes, notebooks, magical glyphs and words, all written about on intricate sheets of paper and magical displays, frantic, desperate, trying to attempt to understand what it is exactly that he's looking at. I don't understand. None of this makes any sense. How is this possible? Years I've managed this facility. Never once have I had an issue. And now, all of a sudden, it's one after the other. Who'd have thought? Rats. This far north? It makes no sense. Why are they here? How could they do this much damage? I need that status report, immediately. A door slams open. A frantic-looking gentleman, dressed in the outfit of a private in the military, bursts in, barely catching his breath, covered in sweat, holding another stack of crumpled and disheveled paperwork. Sir, I have the report. It's worse than we thought. Somehow they've destroyed all the arcane transfer wards. All of them have been chewed through all the stone. There's no power going through to the complex. We're completely in the dark. We can't see. The long range is gone, and the short range is barely functional. We don't know how they got there or how long they've been here. What do you mean you don't know? Isn't it we have dozens of men whose jobs it is to maintain this array? Where have they all gone? Well, sir, they're all sick. We don't know. They slowly, over a period of weeks, they complained about different symptoms, and we thought maybe the cold or flu was going around, but all dozens of them, they're all bedridden. They can barely make out any words. They definitely can't even stand. We don't know. They've been like that for weeks. We can't fix them. And the whole time they were out, these rats must have been dealing damage. We don't even know how they got here. There's no entryway. We don't understand. It's too cold for them to be natural. They must have been brought here somehow. We just don't know from where. Ridiculous. I can't believe this. If the overseer finds out about this, we're all screwed. A door slowly creaks open in the background, unbeknownst to the two gentlemen arguing in the room, and a slow hiss fills the room. Finds out about what exactly? Oh, sir, finds out about, there has been a small incident, but we are handling it, and it's all good. Everything's good. You don't need to worry about anything at all. It's not even worth your time. We've got it. It's below your pay grade. We've got it. Is that right? Okay, then. I'll let you handle it. An eerie smile takes the face of this third gentleman to enter the room. The smile lasts for only a second, until a large scaled appendage darts out from the shadows and wraps around the throat of the gentleman standing at the desk.
Sir, this isn't necessary. I have it all handled. Trust us.
I trust you about as far as I can throw you. So let's start with the answers to the questions I asked. You, private, answer.
Sir, there was a small incident in the power array, and there seemed to be a swarm of rats that wandered their way in, and they chewed through some of the connections, and it's caused a temporary power down of the sensors. We have already started working on it. It's fine. I think we can fix this before any meaningful lack of coverage.
Coverage. How long have we been without power?
Only a matter of hours. Maybe 4 or 5. It's hard to tell. It's dark almost all day without the sun. It's almost impossible to tell. You know how it is, right, sir?
What the private said. We have it all under control. You don't need to worry about it, sir. We've got this. Please.
We haven't had power in hours? Are you insane? Why was this not reported to me? This is urgent.
Sir, it's just rats. We can handle rats. How many men are at this station? Nothing has ever happened in hundreds of years. It's just mice. It's easy. It's not even worth your time.
Things don't just happen for no reason. This transgression won't go unpunished. I demand full information on what's happened here.
Well, sir, it's simple. Some men have gotten sick over the weeks, and that has led to a shortage of hands, and that let the rat problem get a little out of those hands, and they chewed through some of the more important bits of the array. But as soon as the men are off bed rest, they can immediately start fixing it. It's only been offline for a few hours. We should be fine. They should be back and better than ever as soon as and then we can get everything fixed and the array will be back online. It'll be no problem. No one even needs to know that it happened, and we can all just pretend it didn't. And then no reporting, no paperwork, no anything, and we should be good. There's no reason to be alarmed. Everything's fine. What are the odds that, I don't know, in the 1,000 years this facility's been around, now is the one time something happens? No one even checks on us. We're almost entirely independent.
I check on you. I make sure everything functions perfectly. This facility is paramount to the safety of this world and its inhabitants. You fool, and you're full of a leader. In fact,
Sir, this is outrageous.
The crunching of bone and sinew is audible as the scaled appendage crushes the throat and rib cage of the man once sitting behind the desk. He crumples to the floor in a heap, unmoving, unbreathing, blood gurgling out of what was once a functional mouth and neck and what is now an almost unrecognizable pulp. An extremely visible fear is notable on the face of the one remaining gentleman in the room, this seemingly private individual. This fear is directed at this this third man who has entered the room. As this man walks forward, it is revealed it is not a man at all. The private is face to face with an enormous creature, easily twice as tall as he is. A body almost entirely covered in scales, a head like that of a snake, and no legs. Instead, where legs would be at the waist is fused into one long 15 or 20 foot snake tail, like that of a giant anaconda that was half man. This creature looks down at the private with reptilian eyes glowing yellow, with rage and with luminescence. And he locks eyes with this private individual and strikes this disgusting smile. A smile that says punishment has yet to truly be doled out. Sir, you didn't need to kill him. Oh gods. Why?
You don't understand what we do here. Lax attitudes beget death on a scale you can't fathom. I won't allow it. Not now, not in the last 1,000 years, not any time in anyone's future. We must immediately get the array back online. I won't accept failure, especially not with a loud shattering array of alarms and different cavalcades of sirens interrupt the snake creature as he scolds and approaches the private dressed individual. These alarms immediately widen the eyes of the snake creature as he looks from what was once a position of immense authority to immense cowardice and fear. His eyes widen further than seemingly possible, like dinner plates strapped to his face, as he immediately bolts for the nearest window. With what could only be described as tears streaking down his face, he looks up to the sky in utter agony and fear as he looks and he sees something only visible from where this facility is located. He sees in a vast tundra completely covered in ice, snow, glaciers, mountains, a place that seemingly gets no sunlight, no heat. And he stares up at a sky with no light pollution, pure stars, moon, every aspect of space visible, almost the entirety of the day, it would seem, based on the location of this facility. And he is met with the horrifying sight of dozens and dozens of meteorites as they streak towards the sky, seemingly undetected by the emplacement where he finds himself, only detected by sight when the spotters had seen it. And in a soft, breathy, hesitant voice, all that can be heard is the whimpering of the private dressed individual and a small prayer from what was once a snake that feared nothing. Gods help us all. They're back.